All right. We conclude the 18th chapter. The 18th chapter in one word, ma'od. What does it mean that it's very close? What does it mean that our connection, relationship with God is very close? Not just close, but very close. So in this chapter we begin a new direction. Previously we spoke that the human condition is the mind over the heart. That the mind can feed the heart, and there can be a relationship with God of love and awe. Now, it could be a palpable love and awe, or it could be just a mindful heart and an intellectual love that leads to a understanding heart, which then ultimately leads you, which is the most important thing about the Beinoni, and for us as a Beinoni in training, is to do it. To do what you need to do in thought, speech, and action, what God needs from us in Torah and mitzvahs. So that's what we learned. Now we're going in a different direction. We're speaking about something that defines the Jewish soul that's unique about it. And what we've explained till now, I mean, we have several questions that we are dealing with. But the current question is that, what we previously learned is that the Jewish soul is not by virtue of creating it. The love of that soul is not because he created it either. It's something that we merit because of the patriarchs that came before us and their great divine service, completely given over to God in their divine service. Not a limb, nothing about them was about themselves. It was only about their service. And they merited that their descendants, who was the Jewish people, will get this unique Jewish soul. So we defined it yesterday, and now we're going to give it some true understanding, that it is Chachma of the soul that has this unique quality defining the Jewish soul. Now with this, in our discussion, we'll get a little understanding of what it means then, a soul that's not a Jewish soul, even though the Alter Rebbe doesn't speak about it, but we'll talk a bit about that. So, Chachma, as was explained in chapter 3, is that initial flash of intelligence. It's kind of nebulous. It's this a glimmer. It's like a light going off in your head. Eureka! I got it. You know, you were struggling with a difficult question, struggling with something difficult at work or whatever it might be, and all of a sudden, it comes to you, right? So it is the source of intelligence and comprehension that emerges in the next level called Bina. Bina, to build. Building on this flash, this kind of it's almost like an intuitive thing. Bina having the ability to completely grasp the idea in its details and ramifications. But Chachma is paradoxical. It's got two opposite ideas. One is that it's the source of the intelligence. Bina cannot, understand and grasp without taking it from Chachma, that flash of intuition, or that flash of the seminal idea. However, Chachma itself is beyond comprehension. It's above it. There's no understanding there. And that's why Chachma has a unique quality, that it can be the recipient of the light of the Ein Sof, right? And at the same time, because it's the recipient of the Ein Sof, meaning the limitlessness of, of God, in our soul, it then becomes the source of everything in our soul, which includes, of course, comprehension, that the soul is capable, and the intelligence of the soul. And all the other faculties of the soul. Das, Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, Netzach, Yesod, Malchus. So it brings everything to the soul, including intelligence and comprehension, and yet at the same time, it is beyond intelligence and comprehension, and that's why it can be a recipient of something that is Ein Sof, limitless, of God. Right? Now we see that in the very word of Chachma. Chachma, spelled Ches, Chaf, Mem, He, for those familiar with the Hebrew letters. Those very letters spell two words, Koyach Ma, meaning the power of what? Actually, think about it. Oh, it's like all of a sudden the flash comes into your mind, that glimmer of, oh, eureka, oh, got it, right? It's like, oh, where did it come from? What is it? Because it's beyond intelligence where it's coming from, right? It came from a higher source. And at that point, you don't comprehend it. You sort of, oh, right? So like, someone would give you a little nudge and say, hey, what'd you get? And all of a sudden you got a little, confused and you lost the idea. How many times does that happen to us? That we kind of have that seminal, that glimmer, and then it's gone. It's gone. Why? Because it's beyond comprehension. You kind of see it, but you don't hear it yet. You see the idea, right? But you don't hear it, meaning seeing, you see the whole thing at once. Hearing, you hear, a word at a time, a detail at a time, a concept at a time, right? So, again, because of its koyach ma, the power of what? What is it? Where is it coming? What's its source? Meaning it's beyond it. It's a recognition of that which is greater than itself, which is unknowable. And what's unknowable? Ein Sof, the limitlessness of God, unknowable. Chachma is capable of being that recipient. Now, what we're explaining here is this is the source of the Jewish soul. Therefore, there's a consequence as a result of this, that the Jewish people, no matter what level of, and who they are, great sages, illiterate, having no knowledge about God, believe in God. It's a piece of them in their soul. Because what is believing, what does faith mean? Something that's beyond understanding and beyond comprehension, right? The ability to grasp that which the intellect can't grasp, faith does. And as the verse says in Mishlei, Ecclesiastics, King Solomon says, the fool believes everything, but the clever man understands. So a fool, on a simple level, the fool is someone that you can understand something and you just believe it, then that's foolish. Because you should understand it. Be clever and understand it. Don't be foolish. However, on another dimension of understanding this verse, before God, all of us in relationship to God are fools. Meaning, we don't get him through intelligence because he's beyond intelligence. No way to comprehend God through our thoughts. So in that sense, we're like fools before him. Because how do we grasp him? Through faith. Now, we're talking about, we're not talking about knowing the presence of God, the divine providence of God, the effect of God in the world. That's something you can know. We're talking about God himself. Okay? And that's what King David said in Tehillim, in Psalms. I am foolish and ignorant. I am a beast before you. I'm constantly with you. Because I approach you like a fool, as a beast, meaning irrationally, right? Fool, beast, irrational. Meaning, not in a negative sense, but with the power of faith. Therefore, I'm constantly with you. That's what King David is saying. Okay. So what does that mean? What's the consequence of that? Of this faith that we're talking about? As a result, the Alter Rebbe says, as a rule, and rules have exceptions to the rule, of course, which there have been, but as a rule, the most worthless of worthless, removed people from Judaism, sinners among the Jewish people, nonetheless, they sacrifice their lives and even suffer harsh torture rather than deny their Jewishness, their Judaism, their attachment to God, rather than accepting another faith. Even if they're boors, even if they're, illiterate and ignorant of God and their relationship to God and God's greatness. Even if they do have any awareness, or even if they have a lot of awareness, they don't actually delve into it and kind of make a calculation. Is it something worthwhile that I should give up my life, not deny my faith, and die? There's no calculation made. Rather, prepared to give up your life without any reflection, without any understanding, because it's absolutely impossible that you should renounce your faith. No rational argument is made. Why? Where does this come from? It comes from Chachma of the soul that defines the Jewish soul. And that Chachma is the oneness of God that illuminates and animates the entire being of the soul at that moment when it's becoming revealed. That which is unknowable, ungraspable, Chachma is able to grasp through faith. And what is it that it's grasping? Ein Sof, God. And therefore prepared to give up your life.